Hi guys, this is Vitaly with AFT Dispatch and A2C Logistics, and in today's video I wanted to actually do a follow-up to the video I just released yesterday about the port congestion out in San Pedro Bay. So we're talking Port of Los Angeles, Port of Long Beach. And the reason I'm making this video is because another piece of news came out that is very, very relevant and shows major change. So I wanted to show you. So we've talked about it being 100 ships out there, then it dropped down to 73, then 69, and hopefully it's been decreasing. Currently it says here that there are over 60 container ships full of import cargo offshore of Los Angeles and Long Beach, so that has decreased as the latest releases. But they're more than double that at 154 as of Friday, waiting for to load export cargo off Shanghai and Ningbo in China. Now you guys might remember, I'll leave little cards here in the corner about the previous videos where we talked about the port congestion out in China. We've talked about Shanghai, Zhengsheng, Ningbo, Mengdong. We've talked about all those things, and now there's 154 in that area, and basically they're actually saying that the number of container ships anchored off Shanghai and Ningbo has surged over the recent weeks. There are now 242 container ships waiting for berths countrywide. So we're not just talking about in the ports, but outside the ports, just like we saw in California where it peaked out at 100. They have way over twice that out in China. Now, they don't know if this is due to the typhoon, because it is typhoon season. They have Typhoon Chanthu, or it could be COVID. The rising congestion over there is definitely a wild card for the U.S. is the way that they're putting it, because it creates volatile trade flows. It's basically, it slows down the exports in the U.S., so that's bad news for us. On the other hand, it is good news because it allows us to catch up with with the congestion that we got stateside here in California. And remember, California is not the only port city or port state. It's definitely one of the largest, but the largest port's not in California. I believe it's actually in Louisiana is where the largest port in the United States is. And what they're actually talking about here is this would create a temporary reprieve, but also would delay cargo further. And this is creating a whiplash effect. And so we're having a lot of this kind of like up and down, rather where they would prefer to have it more steady. So what they're saying here is to follow the money, because what's going on is that they're using now smaller ships in order to ship the products. So there will be more ships in order to carry the same amount of ships. And they're also using smaller containers. So they used to use 40 footers. Now they're using 20 footers. And so they 40-foot equivalents, FEUs versus TEUs, is what they're using now. And the costs have further decreased for shipments from the U.S. To China, and further increase from China to the United States. So that's creating a problem. And according to EC, the number of Far East West Coast services has surged from 48 in January to 67 this month. So we're talking September. In contrast, the number of services on this lane stayed fairly steady last year, between 42 and 46. So it's a very large increase. There's also extra loaders. These are guys that generally don't do this type of work, but they're kind of taking it on. It's kind of like with us in trucking, where we just take on a load that maybe pays really well. We just take it, take the opportunity, make the extra money. Or very similar to like LTL guys who might pile on a bunch of loads, bunch of freight onto their trucks. And what's also happening is that they're trying to focus on this lane in particular, California, because the rates are being supported. They'd rather sit there and wait and charge the extra fees because the market is paying that. But ultimately, it's the American consumer that's going to be paying the additional costs. Now, there's a lot of statistics here about TEUs decreasing from January to now. There's a 17% decrease in Asia West Coast services. There's also, I believe, a 24% increase for quarter one. Anchorage peaking out in February 1st of this year. There was a drop there. So this is creating a major problem. And I think the folks at these ports are just simply getting tired, getting burnt out with dealing with all this freight that's coming in. One of the things that they're talking about is, how does this end? Well, they're saying that it will equal out and it will balance itself out, is the way that they put it. I don't really see that happening, because there's going to be that, those ups and downs and those peaks, because if you're going to slow it down, and let's say you create a little bit of space on the U.S. side, and then you're going to flood it again with this ocean freight coming in from China, because they're trying to sell this product and they can't, they're going to get pressure from their suppliers, from their brokers, from their manufacturers to get this stuff out of there, because once you produce a product, what are you going to do with it? A lot of this product is actually going to go bad inside these ships in the first place, because not all of it can just sit there. It's got shelf life. So there's going to be some problem. And they're saying right now that there's a lack of visibility because in the first half of 2020, when carriers were blanking sailings due to lockdown-induced demand drops, they announced voyage cancellations months in advance, providing an important signal to the market. This year, there's far less notice because blank sailings are being caused by congestion, not lower forward demand. So we're not being told about this. It's just kind of dropping. Freight, they're just canceling. I mean, there's a lot of different manufacturers that are unable to manufacture anything because there's a shortage of all sorts of products that are necessary for manufacturing. And so I just wanted to make this video kind of in addition to what we talked about in yesterday's video. I'll leave a card for that as well, because I really think this is going to affect us quite heavily stateside. It's very important to understand that these things have kind of lag time, and we're going to see this. So right now, in terms of truckers, I would definitely say take the freight that is being offered to you, because what we may see is a decline in rates at some point. And sorry for the noise if it's too loud. We may see a decline in freight rates temporarily as it evens out, but then we're going to be flooded with more freight, and we're actually going to see probably major shortages, but as well as an influx of product that cannot be processed fast enough through the logistics chains or the supply chain. So definitely continue working hard. I know a lot of folks that I'm talking to have gotten used to the higher freight rates. A lot of, especially the newer guys that are entering the market, they think that this is normal. This is not normal. These are not normal rates. I would definitely take advantage of this as much as you can. I would, focus on getting additional equipment. You will need it. You will be able to utilize it. Right now, it's your time. It's truckers' time to be able to make money. I believe that this market will last for some time into the future. And with the way that the freight markets, with ocean freight, and with all the problems that we're seeing in the markets with rail, warehouse space, all the crazy dwell time that we talked about yesterday, all of that stuff is generally increasing in most categories. So you definitely want to be mindful and take on the freight and take the proper lanes. The best people to talk to about this are going to be your dispatchers, because these guys are the ones who are sitting looking at these lanes, looking at the freight at the markets all day long, with lots of carriers, lots of owner operators, and they have a lot more data and a lot more information than you guys might have, or most other people. Brokers aren't going to tell you this stuff because they're in the business of making money off of you. So definitely be mindful, trust your dispatchers, and if you got any questions whatsoever, drop us a comment in the comment section below. I'm always trying to get back to you guys as soon as possible on those. If you have questions, like I said, drop a comment, call us, text us. Numbers 801-448-6363. Go to our website, drop us a message there in the chat box. We will get back to you, and hopefully you guys having an awesome weekend, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Hey guys, I also wanted to say something extra that came to mind after I finished that recording. So one of the things that I keep running into is a lot of carriers, and mainly this is owner operators that are leased on. Mainly it's the owner ops, where the carriers they're leased onto are keeping it basically a secret that the markets have gone up this much. So they increase the rates ever so slightly to keep people satiated. People think that they're making top dollar because they're making better money, but the carriers who are leasing on these owner ops are really putting that money in their pockets. So this is especially the case for leased on owner operators. Understand that the markets are considerably higher than they are. If you're only getting a few cents more, 10, 15, 20 cents more on your loads than what you're generally used to, they're taking advantage of you. So if you're looking to lease on, change things, or even get an idea of the kind of money you should be making, get in touch with us. Carriers, you operate under your own MC authority. Look at what kind of money you're making and compare that to the rates that we're presenting every single week. Go back several weeks if you need to. Take a look. Now, these are top earning carriers in these videos. Not everybody makes this kind of money, but there's usually a huge differential. So be very, very mindful. You don't want to miss this opportunity that's been going on for over 18 months now, and you don't want to be at a tail end of this thing realizing I just, missed out on a really big opportunity and on hundreds of thousands of dollars of profit annually. So enough said, guys. If you got questions, call, text 801-448-6363. Go to our website at aftdispatch.com or drop me a comment in the comment section below. Take care.